Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We about to get into this New York thing, um, and see if it's too expensive to live in New York. It's not only expensive, but um, the stores are leaving out of the neighborhood. What y'all acting like that for? What's the problem? Oh, Matt, what you doing back there, boy? Shut up, sit your ass down. Sit your ass down on that bench, boy. That's just Matt mad at D Fish. That's just Matt. He mad at D Fish. That's all. You know, I got him back there. Y'all don't mind him. So that y'all can focus on the story. So that you guys can focus on the story. Good morning as y'all come in, hit the like button. I'm going to use Maddie as an overlay, just because one, I'm an asshole. Number two, he shouldn't have been messing with me. Now, I hope this Wi-Fi is okay because it looks like StreamYard's connection is unstable. If you're on Wi-Fi, try to plug it into your router. All right, hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can plug this thing in real quick. Okay. I hope that is better. I hope I get a little more bars. I just took myself off the Wi-Fi. Hold on. I'm back, people. Let's see if this thing is going to work. I don't know if this thing is working or not, or if it's lagging. I'm on somebody's Wi-Fi. I might have to move to that front room. But if I do, I'll move while this video is playing. So y'all bear with me. Let me play this video.
You know, it would be really nice to have a massive building full of affordable places to live right over there where these other ones used to be. But now that the city's laws that incentivized affordable construction in the past have expired, that's probably not what we're going to see here. In this neighborhood, a little tiny box apartment with one room, $3,600. The landlord will rent it to you if you...
So in this little box room right here, $3,600. $3,600 for you to get a one-bedroom studio rental. 3,625. That means no washer and dryer. No real guests can come there. $3,600 will get you a mansion in Georgia. In New York, we got this guy doing all this talking, bumping his gum. Can you afford 3,600 bucks for a studio? To get a 3-bedroom, you're talking, if you multiply that per room, you're paying $10,000, like I said. You're paying about 10, a month.
Neighborhood, a little tiny box apartment with one room, $3,600. The landlord will rent it to you if you make 40 times the rent every year, which not everybody does. And earning that much would put you among America's top breadwinners. And that's a problem because if it's going to cost you everything to live in one of these little places and get next to nothing, the city is set up for disaster. On top of that, most New Yorkers are never going to make enough to live in one of these places, which makes you wonder, who are they building these places for?
Your income has to be nearly twice the median, $134,000 a year, to afford rent. About 30% of New Yorkers are already spending half of their income just on rent.
I think a lot of us probably spend outside of our means living here.
So I guess if you're going to live around here, you better be doing something very special, especially when you consider that a good measure of financial responsibility is to keep your rent at or below 30% of your income. But the median Manhattan income is around $70,000, which means you got to make almost double that. And this basically eliminates everybody from being a resident here unless you're in finance or big tech. But we're not talking about a majority of people. We're talking about a minority of people who are going to rent the very few expensive apartments that are left. That's why rents are surging out of control, because there's just no inventory.
That's amazing. You got to make over $200,000, $200,000 a year.
A study by the company Street Eagle.
He's right. If you want to
So you basically have to make $300,000 or $400,000 a year to be able to afford rent and everything else in New York. How can people live like that? So you mean to tell me the regular residents of New York, if they're not making $200,000-$300,000 a year in finance and all this, you telling me they living below the Mason-Dixon line? They're living in these small, impoverished apartments and things of that nature. Is that what you're telling me? I hope you're not telling me that, because that's what it sounds like you're telling me. It sounds like you're telling me these people that are living in New York, they struggling. They are struggling. No offense to anybody from New York, but based on these numbers and based on what people make, y'all struggle. Because just your living situation alone, $3,600 a month for a studio? Really? Who in their right mind? What is it about New York that y'all love so much that I'm going to pay to live like that? I'm sorry, ain't that much shopping in the world. I'll come visit the shop. I'll come visit the shop. I'm getting my mic and stuff set back up. I just moved in another room. And hopefully this setup is better because I am closer to the router. So maybe we'll be able to do our thing.
Rent a 3-bedroom apartment in this neighborhood, that's over $6,000 a month. So yeah, you're going to be needing to make over $200,000 a year in order to live here comfortably. But even though that might sound like a lot of money, here you're basically middle income. Good luck affording a car or a camper for fun weekend vacations. Here we go, a Vespa, now we're talking. But as sad as it is that New York City has been allowed to become a place that New Yorkers can no longer afford to live in, you have to understand that the laws that were giving landlords a tax break in order to build affordable apartments were very controversial. And that has a lot to do with why they were allowed to expire. And it has a lot to do with why the construction of new apartments has basically ground to a...
See, this is a classic case. Hold on. This is a classic case of what happened when everyone is always chasing the big guy. We don't want them to make no money. We don't want them to get no tax break. This is that. It's called the trickle-down effect. You give them a break so that they give others that don't create anything a break. You don't give them a break, they don't give you a break. Now you can't afford to live. See the way that works? You can't be watching the super rich with an envious eye, because you can be one of those people that at any given moment, you can make enough money to where you can start building things and putting things together. Do you want your entrepreneurship, your good deeds, your good work to be held back because you're rich and you're making money? That don't make any sense.
Screeching halt. And now everyone's struggling to pay their rent and realizing at the exact same time that if we don't build places soon, we're going to be in trouble. And some of the city's leaders want these controversial laws to come back.
One
big tax incentive that was allowed to expire units affordable.
So, the law that incentivized developers to build fancy new stuff was called 421A, but it's gone now. Basically, it reduced the property taxes of developers who built buildings that had affordable units inside of them. So you could build a brand new skyscraper like this, and it could have a mix of market rate apartments and affordable apartments that anybody would be able to rent. And believe it or not, the program began in 1971, which makes it older than most of the people that are renting these tiny little apartments that are super expensive. And it's older than most of the people who thought it was controversial, which it kind of was.
But it's extremely controversial, and left-leaning lawmakers say it is a giveaway to big developers. But without it, housing projects are at risk of being stalled.
So it seems that the problem here is that if people are incentivized to make money from housing and they make too much money from housing, that could force people out and make New York completely unaffordable. And the idea of reducing someone's taxes so they can make more money doesn't really make sense to a lot of people, especially when those people are making money at the expense of the folks that are struggling to pay the rent in those very same buildings they got tax breaks to build. Prior to 421A, most New Yorkers were spending 20% of their income on rent, but when 421A ended, most New Yorkers were spending 35% of their income on rent. And the reason that's important is because statistically, people who spend over 30% of their income on rent have problems paying for other things. They tend to be cost burdened when it comes to buying groceries, when it comes to repairing their car. But in order to understand why some people want these tax laws to come back, the other reason they were controversial is because advocates say that landlords who were part of the program got a better deal than the city that gave it to them. They got too many market rate apartments, not enough affordable apartments, and they're the big winners in this plan, not the renters. But landlords and developers say that's a
They're trying to make things even with rules. They're going to always be winners and losers. The people that are out there taking the risk with their money, they're 9 times out of 10 going to be winners. And even sometimes they lose. But you can't keep trying to even the market to the point to where you're not allowing people to do business. You're telling me you got to help the little guy before you help yourself? That it don't work that way. I built an apartment building, and yes, we'll cap some of them off. Maybe they should put a rule in that you have a few more that you leave to the side that you got to rent to a certain level of income. But to just not give them the tax break, well, you see what's going on as a result of that. You see what's going on as a result of that.
a lie. They say without another set of tax breaks, everything is going to look like that vacant lot we saw earlier. And there simply won't be any more new apartments at all for anybody. So even though this program that was essentially a trade-off between tax breaks and affordable apartments was controversial, landlords, on the other hand, and developers, they loved it. And it's estimated that more than 2/3 of the 117,000 apartments built between 2000 and 2010 benefited from this program, which means even though it was controversial, it was doing something. And the affordability crisis is getting even worse now that it's gone. And the law expired in 2022. However, that year, landlords planned to build 46,000 homes. But in 2023, 1 year later, only 9,000 homes were planned. And what this essentially means is that the people who are going to spend the money to build the buildings are going to end up having some.
So it went from 46,000 homes to 9,000 homes. That is a dramatic drop off from what they were planning to build. So instead of having 46,000 more homes, New York got 9,000 more homes, meaning that more people don't have a place to stay. And then you're going to bring in migrants that don't build, that don't add to the situation. So now a struggling place to live that's already overcrowded, that don't have any more entrepreneur spirit. Now all you have is people that are looking for a handout. When you have so many people looking for a handout, looking for food, looking for a place to stay, how is that sustainable? That means the government is going to have to step in. That means taxpayers are going to have to step in. That means other people are going to have to take care of the people, all because we're so afraid to allow people to make money and we're jealous. So we say, no, you can't do that. Now they can't go out and make money like they're supposed to. Now taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. See the way that works? You should not stop free enterprise. You shouldn't stop people from being able to build. You definitely should be giving tax breaks because of the trickle down effect. It's simple economics.
some say over whether or not buildings end up getting built. Right now, they're not. And lawmakers are starting to realize that, gee, we're in a bind. We got to do something. Industry leaders want the tax breaks back. They say without them, nothing's going to get made. Advocates say the city shouldn't be held hostage by the rich, and that if the last tax breaks didn't work, why would these be any better? On top of that, housing advocates are very firm on good cause eviction laws, which would essentially stop property owners and developers from evicting tenants just to raise the rent. On top of that, labor groups who do work on some of these construction sites, they want guaranteed wage increases, which is going to make the cost to build everything more expensive, which is going to mean the final rents have to be higher, which is going to mean less affordability. So this trifecta isn't getting along very well. But even if the ultimate compromise gets passed, even if landlords get their tax breaks and tenants can live forever in the same apartment, there's another problem coming that nobody wants to talk about. Because if they do, these negotiations are definitely going to fall apart. So you see this massive office building right here? This is one of the problems nobody wants to talk about that could be the reason New York City rents go up no matter what anybody does about it. And that's because even though these offices kind of look like apartments, or even if they don't, turning them into apartments, it's never going to happen, no matter how bad the city begs for it.
At the top of the list is to use already existing buildings, mainly office buildings.
There's more than 100 million square feet of outdated office space. And what that
So we keep hearing about this, how offices are going to be amazing apartments, but where are they? I don't see them. We've been hearing about this for a year. And they are literally nowhere to be found. And that's because even though many New Yorkers would love to live in a converted office, critics say there just ain't no way. And that's because empty offices make lousy apartments. They're just way too big. And even if they weren't, critics say this plan would never solve anything. And that's because even if every derelict, rotting, useless office was converted into apartments, the number of apartments that the city's laws would legally allow to be converted would only be about 20,000 homes. And these renovations, fixing something like that and making it livable, it's going to take time. It's going to take money. 20,000 homes is nothing compared to the number the city's leaders say that we need to keep pace with population growth. 20,000 homes is only 4% of what we need, and it might take 10 years to make them all. I'm sure those apartments are cool, but they're not going to solve any of the city's problems.
the floor plates don't
To keep pace with population growth. 20,000 homes is only 4% of what we need, and it might take 10 years to make them all.
So the new plan is, since you stopped the 46,000 homes from being built, the new plan is to use office space, which hadn't been built yet. If they build it, only 4% of their plan would help New York. It's only 4% of what they need. And it may take 10 years to build. That sounds like a heck of a plan. Hey, whoever's still staying in New York, God bless you.
I'm sure those apartments are cool, but they're not going to solve any of the city's problems.
the floor plates don't always lend themselves to easy conversions. There are rules in the books in terms of light and air requirements.
So the first issue is the floor plates are just way too wide to be apartments. Floors in buildings like this can be 10, 20,000 square feet each. And since each apartment needs a window, in order to say that it has a bedroom, the apartments would be very long and narrow. The windows are here by the street. Look at that, no interior windows. Your apartment would be like half a mile long. It wouldn't make any sense. And something like this isn't going to meet the city's requirements for light and air. There's got to be a certain amount of interior light, a certain amount of air that can get into the interior of the dwelling. And it's a shame, but the reality is offices are just built different. Okay, 9,300 square feet on the lower level here. The reason that converting this is very difficult is because in instances when it has been done, the builders will cut out a square in the interior and core out the building. That way they can have windows kind of on the perimeter and the shaftway on the inside that they created. And even though this top floor here is 12,000 square feet, no one's going to spend the money to do that and hollow out the inside of a massive building like this. At least very few people will do it. Those that have got their money back by creating luxury apartments, and those are not affordable. And using this place as an example, where's the bathroom? You'd have to rip up the floors, run lines all over the place. There's also no kitchens. And on top of that, there's another problem.
Moral of the story is the plan is not going to work. So the affordable house ideal with those buildings are not going to work. They can turn them into luxury apartments because the money that they're going to spend, they're going to want to recoup. That's the way it works. They're not going to make affordable houses if they got to go do all that. They're going to make $5-10 million luxury apartments, $20 million luxury apartments. Then somebody will spend the money in order to do so. But it seems like we have a hate for people who have money and who are willing to spend it to enhance, different buildings and living situations. I think we focusing on one group a little too much. Now, this part right here is where Target is leaving. When you have stores like Target, Walmart, stores like that leave an area that are anchor stores that do a tax analysis, it's a safe bet for anybody who don't do a great job of doing their due diligence. You know, companies like Target, Walmart, those companies are going to account for the foot traffic, for the population, for the people who are going to be able to drive in a short amount of distance. They calculate this stuff to the T before they put a store there. Starbucks, there's a lot of stores that are good like that do things like that. So when you see a store like Target leaving, you got to ask yourself, who's next? Because a lot of this foot traffic is coming because of Target. And once you take that Target, your little mom and pop stores, your little local stores, your chains that are not as strong as a Target, is over with.
This was the first Target to open in New York City, and it's closing permanently.
Target announced that it will close 9 of its stores, including the one on 117th Street.
It is a body blow to this community.
The issue, theft. The retailer saying it's not only hurting business, but it's compromised the safety of employees.
I see people walking through the exit door with stuff inside their hands.
It's sad.
City Hall says stores were hit more than 22,000 times by shoplifters last year.
They come here, they steal.
So the Target that's closing, it's right here in a massive shopping complex with a whole bunch of other stores, Costco, Burlington, Aldi. None of the other stores are closing, only Target. Why is that?
This was the first Target branch to open in Manhattan back in 2009 as part of a larger development aimed at bringing retail to an underserved community. Target says the store will close for good in less than a month.
This is the East River Plaza. 12 stores, 4 anchor stores, and this was a really big deal for this area of town. We're on 117th Street. Before this place opened, none of these stores had a presence up here in this part of town. And for the first time ever, people...
See, so there's 12 stores, 1 anchor store. So if Target is 12 stores, 4 anchor stores. So if Target is one of the 4 anchor stores, then that could be a problem. New York, we have a problem. These policies and these rules that you guys are supporting, the migrants, you letting the illegal immigrants come over and making sanctuary cities, how's that working out for you? You're allowing shoplifting and lawlessness in your city. How is that working out for you? You mean to tell me people from America, if they touch the cops, they get shot? Illegals come over here and beat the cops up and flip them off, and we got a soft on crime approach against them? Why? It makes no sense. But in the grand scheme of things, it makes a lot of sense. Because they're going to butter them up and be nice to them because they're their voting base. They're not going to show them that they believe in law and order right now. After the election, and if they win, they'll show the migrants that, hey, we got law and order around here. We're going to lock the bad ones up, and the good ones, hopefully y'all get enough free stuff to continue to vote. We gave you the food stamps. We're giving you money. We gave you a place to stay. Now give us your vote. That's all what this is about, in my opinion.
People that lived around here had access to stores like this without having to travel to some faraway location, downtown, uptown, or the Bronx. Look at all the different levels here. This is a massive complex. And if the stores that are here start vacating, the residents that rely on them aren't going to have any other options. And not only is Target the first store here to pack it up and call it quits, it's also one of the 4 anchor stores in this location. And that's a big deal.
As Fox 5's Arthur Chan reports, Target's blaming the closures on ongoing problems with theft and violence.
Anthony uses it for his groceries, and David is here for a birthday party.
So in about 2 weeks, this store is going to be closed. This is what it's like in here right now. Most of the store shelves are full. I spoke to somebody that works here, and they said that most of the inventory is out on the floor, but the stock rooms in the back are pretty much empty at this point. And that makes sense. Most of the large display sections like this are full, but the side aisles that don't take up a prominent position, those are pretty much empty. The entire detergent aisle is walled off with gated glass. I think this was a button that you would ring for an associate. Either way, everything's locked up here. Detergents are a popular target for those who want to take them without paying. They are doing a good job making it look relatively presentable while it's in its final days. On a lot of the shelves, the inventory is only like one item deep. There's nothing behind it, but all things considered, they're doing the best they can with this situation. And if you know where to look, entire sections are empty. At some point, they'll probably stop stocking this, however. Interesting, the milk that's here has the same expiration date as the store's closing date. And look at this.
And some people might say, this ain't nothing. So what? They can go ahead and leave the neighborhood. And that might be true for you. It might not affect you. But what about that elderly woman? What about the sickly man that's, maybe he got problems with his circulation in his leg. He can't walk. What about people with disabilities? How are they going to get their medication? Are they going to have to go all the way across town? They're going to have to go to a whole nother borough just to shop, just to get food? You got to start thinking about this stuff, people. When all the resources, the stores, the food, and everything is out of your neighborhood, where are you going to have to go to get the other resources, the good food and stuff? You're going to have to go in other folks' neighborhood. And you know what's going to happen.
They are fully stocked on Halloween candy, and that makes it seem like the decision to close is relatively sudden. It's weird that a store would stock up on seasonal items the same month that they're closing. It's doesn't make sense. Or it could be that this stuff was in the store's basement since last year and they brought it out, but that doesn't explain the candy.
And consider this Target store, it is the anchor store here at the East River Plaza, and the long-term concern, if Target's leaving, who will do the same?
Now, as I mentioned before, this is an anchor store, and an anchor store is the kind of store that brings people to a place like this as the main attraction. Target is the kind of place that will sell you anything and everything, even TVs. And because of that, you can't have a major shopping complex like this without anchor stores to bring people in. And all of the other little stores, they need the foot traffic from big businesses like this in order to exist at all. They can't if the anchor stores pull out. That's why Target pulling out is a big deal. And even businesses that aren't in this shopping complex that might be nearby, they benefit from increased activity in this area. A solid anchor store or group of anchor stores can totally change a neighborhood, and to an extent, that's what happened when Target moved in. And just as a solid anchor store can bring a positive change to a neighborhood, if one pulls out, the opposite can happen, and the neighborhood can get worse for everybody that lives here.
Did you hear what he just said? This is the reason why you give these people these breaks that create stores and opportunities. Because when they do come, there's data and research that shows there's a benefit. They help the community. They help jobs. They help clean up an area. It makes it a positive situation. There's cash flow. There's revenue being made. When they leave, the opposite effect happens. So why is everybody focused on listening to these politicians that are not going to deal with what you have to deal with? People start cackling and repeating the things that these analysts say and these senators and congressmen and women say. They don't care nothing about no Target closing in your neighborhood. The Target in their neighborhood not going to close. They don't care that you're rioting, looting in your neighborhood, because they're not going to allow people to do that in theirs. They know you don't shh where you eat. They keep their stores clean. They call the police if you steal in their store. They encourage you to ruin your own neighborhood, take a crap on your own front porch. They encourage you to do that. They tell you talking points that you repeat, not knowing the ramifications of what you're saying. If you run big businesses out of your neighborhood, or if you're against big businesses making money, then you might as well say you're against yourself making money. Because those are the ones that's hiring the teenagers, hiring the people in the neighborhood. Those are the ones that's giving people a job. Now, you can talk about the wages all you want, but they're giving you an opportunity. You don't have to sign up for the job. But to sit around and create nothing but complaints is not going to help anybody. And you're going to see the results of that soon.
Now, Target is placing the blame for their needed closure on shoplifting.
They come here, they steal. Target says it's closing the store in a matter of weeks, citing rampant shoplifting that threatens the safety of employees and customers.
Now, look, I'm not an attorney, but if shoplifting is putting customers and employees in danger and the store's losing money, there's not really a whole lot they can do. It's a losing battle. And if people are in danger, the situation's unsafe, and somebody gets hurt, there could be lawsuits. Also, if
So why is this happening? You mean to tell me that we got research that shows that these stores help the community? And you mean to tell me they are opening up stores and giving opportunity in a place that the police and the town officials, the governor, the mayor, the police chief, they won't protect this store? They won't send extra patrol cars so they can at least prosecute when the people call? These people not only got to pay the employees, they got to pay for their own security for their products and their merchandise. Why wouldn't they just leave? Why wouldn't they go to all the states that believe in law and order and believe in people being locked up for doing things that they shouldn't? Why wouldn't they go to those cities? You can't blame Target for this one. If you're going to keep robbing me and stealing from me, I'm gone. I'm out. I'm not dealing with the headache, the lawsuits, and the fallback, because if they go get security, and these people love to pull out their phone and be a villain victim at the same time. There's a lot of villain victims in this world today. And so you have somebody be a villain victim and they fall down and they get hurt a little bit from being arrested or being detained. Now the store is faced with a lawsuit on top of the theft that they're dealing with. They don't want to deal with that. The police don't even want to deal with it because now the police are at threats for being in a lawsuit every day. So this whole moist situation that we're doing where people can't be held accountable for nothing that they do because of their gender, because of their skin color, because of what they identify with, that's what's ruining America. These labels, I said it 3 years ago, these labels are ruining America because depending on the label that I provide you, I get a different level of respect. I get a different level of protection. I get a different level of everything. And each tier comes with a different level of accountability. If I say I'm a part of the LGBTQ, then I got a long rope. If we tell you, black women tell you all the time, I'm a black woman, no matter the behavior, no matter the circumstance, no matter what they're doing, you must know that they're a black woman. And it's not everybody, so don't all be offended, but the ones that ride off of that, you all know I'm telling the truth. If I say I'm a trans woman, there's a different level of respect and rope that comes with that. I'm not trying to offend nobody. I'm just trying to give an observation of what I see. If I'm a white male, I could slap a woman down, pick her back up, and everybody will talk about what it is that woman did to make me have that reaction. Otherwise, there wouldn't be no Dana White. Because when we see Tank Davis and all the other brothers, the women swinging at them, breaking up their stuff, and they always get told there's never a reason to hit a woman. So I'm just trying to say that, hey, I realize that there is a longer rope depending on what group you are identified with. And that identification and that group think, that way of thinking is what's ruining America. It shouldn't be about your black womanness. It shouldn't be about that black girl magic. It shouldn't be about that you are part of the LGBTQ. It shouldn't be about that you're a white male. It shouldn't be about that you're a white woman. It shouldn't be about that you are a J word. It shouldn't be about none of that. It should be about the character that you have. Just like Martin Luther King said. You're supposed to be judged by the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Remember that? He never said judged by the group that you identify with. But that's where we at now. It's almost offensive to be a male, a black male. It's almost offensive to be a black male and talk. People be looking at you like, why are you even talking, nigga? Like, I be feeling that sometimes, so I keep talking.
customers don't feel safe inside the store and they just see people taking things that don't belong to them, they're not going to be too enthusiastic about spending money at a place like this. And this Target has been in the neighborhood for 13 years. And this was the first store they opened in New York before their major push into the city. And I'm guessing that by the presence of all of the food, all the non-expired things, the Halloween candy, they didn't know they were going to have to shut down. You can't really transport stuff that's going to go bad and needs refrigeration to other stores. Of course, some items here have a longer shelf life than others. Even some of the sales have expiration dates that are after the store will close. So those were put there with people not knowing that their jobs in the store were in jeopardy. Maybe they see less theft at their other locations. Maybe those locations make more money, and closing this one makes the whole region more profitable.
They thought they was being smart and everything, running in, running out. Just disrespectful to this store. Now there's not going to be no more Target. Now what they going to do? Now what's going to happen to this neighborhood? To this store.
Profitable.
They thought they was being smart and everything, running in, running out.
And look who's always affected the most by, excuse me, hold on, y'all. Swagger Dash. Look who's affected most by other people's stupidity. It's always the Black woman. You know why? The Black woman is in that community. She has children in that community. She has babies that's going to need Band-Aids, Pampers, milk, formula, things of that nature. So a Black woman is going to be, all women, matter of fact, that's in that neighborhood are going to be affected the most. All women, because they're gonna have a need for a Target way more than a single man. Shit, we can figure it out. But a woman, she has monthly cycles. She needs products for her face, her hair, her nails. She needs moisturizer. Like I said, if she have a kid, diapers. So you are automatically, right off the rip, putting women at risk to have to travel further from their home to go out and get goods just so they can bring back home to their kids. Because most homes that have single mothers in them, like 72%. So women have to travel further now after their long work day to go get groceries if they shopped at Target, or to go get their little whatnots for the house. They got to go further now. So that means the meal is getting prepared later. That means little Johnny is at home by herself longer, or little Keisha is by herself longer. A lot of things happen.
Just disrespectful to this store. Now there's not going to be no more Target. Now what they going to do? Now what's going to happen to this neighborhood?
Unfortunately, she's right. If you steal from a store like this, you're hurting pretty much everybody. People work here to earn a living. If the store closes, they can't do that anymore. Think about the people that live around here. There's families with kids. People need baby formula. People need food. People need school supplies.
Facts, my good friend. I said that part, but I did forget the part that you just mentioned. All of these people have just lost their job if they don't get transferred to another store. And most times the people at the top can get transferred. The district manager and all that stuff, they can get transferred to another store and take on some hours. It's the low income workers that's going to be affected by it. So now, not only people are not going to be able to get their formula and stuff, just like the good brother said, but now people are out of work. You might just have created another robber. You just might have sent somebody back to jail because they had to get a job because their PO was sweating them, and they finally got an opportunity to work at this Target that's in their neighborhood, and they was doing good, and now, boom, they done lost their job. What they gonna do to feed their family? What you think they gonna do if they can't hurry up and get a job to feed their family?
People need clothing. All of that stuff's here, but if this place shuts down, you can't get that stuff here. You got to go somewhere else. The nearest Target is either way up here in the Bronx or downtown. And the big fear is that if Target pulls out completely from this part of town, other stores might not be far behind, and that could take down this entire neighborhood. Domino in a cascade of dominoes, and if it falls, it starts knocking everything else down, and the whole ship sinks. If you're here for Target, or you're here for Costco, are you also going to eat at Applebee's or sign up for Planet Fitness if you have no other reason to be here? This is only a massive hub, very convenient, full of stores if the stores stay. If they pull out, It's not convenient. People are going to leave. There is a 7-level parking garage here, and you have little businesses like a couple of restaurants down on the corner here right outside the complex. That foot traffic is why nearby local businesses have a shot in the first place. And after Target pulls out, how long is it going to take for thieves to discover what the next easiest target here is in this plaza and begin hitting that place repeatedly until it closes?
The store's closure on October 21st left shoppers wondering where the
Now we're gonna get to what these sisters had to say, but yeah, I had to slap back with the good hair. But we're gonna get to what these sisters had to say. But if they close down another store, that just shows you them people don't give a damn about this neighborhood. Because that's not helping what you're doing at all. It's not helping to loot and rob from your own neighborhoods. Go across town. I'm not encouraging you to do none of that. You should never do that. But why are you doing it where you live at? Just make it make sense to me. Anybody that's never mind. I don't even want to know the answer.
People in the community going to go now. They would have to go to the Bronx.
Now, some of you are probably thinking, if Target closes, why not just shop at Costco? They have a lot of the same stuff. But while it's true that Costco and Target might sell a lot of the same stuff, Costco doesn't work for people who don't have a car or a big place to store a lot of those big inventory purchases. Shopping at Costco is like shopping at a warehouse. And Costco has membership fees, which not everyone can afford. And look at all of the people walking to get here. They didn't drive their cars into park. They're going to have to walk home. Now, after getting married, my wife and I, we were living in Astoria, Queens. We tried to do Costco. But between the walk there and the walk back, it was overwhelming. We only went once. And let's say Target's not here and you're used to shopping at this place and then walking back to your...
Who finna walk back in front of all them hungry ass lions with some groceries? With all them illegals y'all got laying on the side of the curb, with all the homelessness in New York, and with people not having money, you're gonna have citizens walking by food and groceries in front of all these people that ain't got nothing to eat. The Walking Dead is about to start in New York, and then it's gonna go over to Chicago, and then LA. The Walking Dead is going to start in LA, New York, Chicago, because this don't make any sense. Closing down stores. Look at this man got all this food and stuff in the buggy. If I'm starving and I don't have anything to eat, and there's a crew of people over there that's starving, they don't have anything to eat, but they have a particular skill set. We are going to join forces and see people like them walking with their little food. And if we don't have no ability to get none, we're going to use that resource of banding together to take your shit. And that's what's going to start happening. It's going to be sad. I'm going to pray for y'all in New York, Chicago, LA. Yeah, we don't do that in a small town. I'm from a small town. We can still borrow a cup of sugar. Yeah, but y'all gonna be in trouble. Y'all don't even like speaking to each other, so y'all gonna be in trouble. Shut up, Matt.
Apartment. If you have to take a train and add that on top of everything else you've got to do, it's just going to make your life so difficult. And that's why we can't take the train to go shopping. We pretty much only shop at stuff that's local to the neighborhood. And taking a cab, that's not an affordable option. You know how expensive that is now? And local residents aren't the only...
I know dang on well he didn't say take the train to go shopping. Taking the train to go shopping is like a damn death wish. Take the train? What? Are you nuts? You can't take no train to go shopping. It's people getting beat up on the train. It's people getting R-worded on the train. It's people singing on the train. It's people probably that snatch your groceries on the train. Man, oh my God. Imagine, fellas, you send your wife out to the grocery shop and she got to get on a train. Especially if she finds a beautiful woman that got to get on a train to get back, to bring some groceries back before you get back from work because she want to cook for you. And she got to deal with all that. Man, ain't no way.
The ones who lose big time if a store like Target pulls out. Across the street had something downstairs. I forget what it was. It might have been a restaurant. Wait, this might have been the Applebee's. I think that's what this was. It looks like it's been closed for a while. If this place generates any less foot traffic, Stuff like what you see behind me is going to become even more common. And if you look at the rest of the neighborhood, it's just residential. There's a lot of apartments. Actually, that's all there is. This is like 95% residential, everything else here. And this is Pleasant Avenue. It's east of First Avenue. There's nothing else over here. Without that shopping center, this would be totally different. It would be even quieter. The busiest place here is the little laundromat. There's a tiny little cafe right here on the corner. It would be even quieter. The busiest place.
Hey, boy from New York, they be talking all that trash. You spend a lot of time right there, don't you, boy? Hey, I know for a fact you don't got $3,600 a month to spend on no goddamn on one bedroom. So, boy, you living rough. You living in somebody's basement. You got one room with mold and rats. Your neighbor is a giant rat. Master Splinter is your next door neighbor, buddy. I know it for sure. Ain't no way you ain't bringing home nothing like that. You got to have $3,600 for a one bedroom. And you know what's not in that one bedroom studio? Well, it ain't even a one bedroom. It's a studio. I know it ain't no washer and dryer in there. So he say the busiest thing on this corner is this laundromat. This guy is a billionaire in New York right here. Hey, this guy that owns this laundromat is a billionaire. I told that nigga, I said, man, you talking trash to me and you got to step through snow to wash a bag of drawers. Well, you better shut up, boy. I got to wash and dry upstairs and I got to wash and dry downstairs. And I ain't got to step through no snow to get to it. But no offense to all New Yorkers. This one punk that I'm talking to. He was talking trash to me, so I'm going to talk trash to him. This don't apply to all y'all. I mean, if it's happening to you too, I apologize. But this punk is who I'm talking about. Don't you ever talk nothing to me, boy. Till you get the bare necessities of a washer and dryer in your house, shut up. All I got to do to beat you, nigga, is turn on my washer and dryer at the same time, nigga. That's like gold to you. Oh, God, there's a washer and dryer. It's like coming to America, nigga. You ain't never seen no shit like that, huh? A washer and a dryer in the house. You'll come over my house, boy. You'll think it's Christmas because you can wash upstairs and down, you punk. Back to the story.
Place here is a little laundromat. There's a tiny little cafe right here on the corner. And if Target's your grocery store and Target closes, where's the other grocery store? I don't see one. But why is Target the only place closing? Are these other stores having similar issues and they just haven't closed yet? The article mentions that Target has a lot of self-checkouts, but stores like Costco don't, which means that the people who are shopping at Costco are monitored to a degree that they may not be if there's a self-checkout. And in order to shop at the Costco, you've got to be a member to even make purchases. Retail theft is 95% higher at places like Target than it is at places like Costco. That's a massive difference, and there's a big difference between anybody being able to just walk into a Target when at Costco, they check your membership at the door and will deny you entry if you're not one. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean stores like Target should start charging memberships, but it is one reason why they're closing and Costco isn't. And the other big beneficiary from all this is, surprisingly, Amazon. If you live in a neighborhood that doesn't have a whole lot of local...
Oh, dang, man. You niggas about to mess it up for everybody. Man, Target is going to start charging memberships. You already need a membership to shop at Costco. Now you're going to need a membership to shop at Target. Oh, my goodness. Jesus wept.
options that you can walk into for things like clothing and basic items that are also sold at Target. People are probably going to start buying those on Amazon. They also have food delivery, and there's other grocery delivery services here in New York as well. And if things like crime keep going up, we may see more businesses transition to a delivery or pickup type of model because those are the only ones that can't suffer from shoplifting.
I shop at a Target all the time. I find this very disheartening to know that they decided that enough is enough and they're leaving.
It seems like this is something that the governor is aware of, not just in this neighborhood, but in all parts of New York City.
City Hall says stores were hit more than 22,000 times by shoplifters last year.
22,000 incidents of shoplifting. That is absolutely crazy. And apparently out of the total number...
Come on, dog. 22,000 times. Man, fellas, if y'all ever would have got robbed 2 times, y'all niggas would be in jail because y'all would be done popped somebody. Target, all they doing is leaving. Leave Target alone. They done been through enough, man. 22 times, man. Y'all looking at Target as a lick. They just gracefully bowing out. Let these people go. Y'all didn't respect their store. Y'all didn't respect these people. You know, let these people go, man. Don't give them no bad habit, no bad rap. Because if you done stole from me 22 times, boy, look at here. Jesus. Them people dealt with enough. Well, that's enough of this story. Matt, what you got to say? Shut up, nigga. You mad at Derek. But listen, man, that's my time, man. I got to put up my little overlay. Where's my overlay at? And, oh, man, did y'all see that with Dr. Umar Johnson? Boy, he had a woman come to the stage. I'm talking about a nice woman. I'm talking about a big-boned, nice queen. I mean, she ran up there and let it all hang out. She said, "You was with me last night." Oh, I looked. I said, "Oh, shucks." Hey, Umar talking about, "I don't know you. You lying, woman." Dr. Umar funny as hell. I don't know if he did it or not. I don't got nothing to do with it. But Dr. Umar funny as hell. I would have said the same thing. I don't know what you talking about, lady. But what she's alleging is kind of crazy. You know, if he walked up to her and said that, Dr. Umar pimping, boy. If he said that, I mean, his pimp hand's strong. But, you know, I'll be listening to a couple of his recordings. Ifa Tunde, I eat Nubo, edamame. He be going to, I be like, what the? Okay, he lost me. Yeah, the nigga too smart for me. I like regular talking niggas. I don't like all that. Ifa Tu. What? Matt, you understand that shit? No, you don't, Jerry Curl. But listen, man, these are the YouTubers that I watch. I'm having a blessed day. I'm having a great day. I hope y'all having a great day as well. I'm about to get down here and do me some push-ups and sit-ups so I can get fine. I'm already fine, but I'm going to get a little finer, if you will. But y'all stay tuned. I'm going to be going live on my main channel right after this video. So right after this video, after you hit that like button on the way out and check out some of these content creators and subscribe up, you make sure you go over to Kwame Brown's Bustlife. We will be going right over there. I'm about to time it up. I'm about to try to anyway. Y'all know I'm a little slow, but I'm about to try to time it up so that as soon as this 50-minute video goes off, I'll be ready to go back on. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm up out of this thing. I'm gone.